whisper of something that I already know. So they've got that kind of sense of a universal symbol. It's a new way to interact as a human body to an object.
Knowmore House of Commons is an interactive installation for between 1 and 5 people. It allows them to manipulate image and sound in real time in a rich and complex kinesthetic environment. Knowmore House of Commons investigates how our attempts to control and conform our environments have led to profound changes in the underlying climate. A large circular table is spun by hand, upon which falls a real-time computer projection, which is coordinated to the spin, and this creates an uncanny blend between the physical object and the real-time virtual media. The work states range from simple life forms that display a direct and embodied relationship to their environments towards a database of arcane and codified information that presents facts and figures about those environments. Participants position around the table, and how they touch the table and how they spin the table are registered by a group of sensors, and this allows between 1 and 5 people to create image and sound together. The more people that interact, the richer and more dynamic and more complex the work becomes.
I became quite entranced with the beauty, the meditativeness, the subtlety of transition from one to another of the trigger points. I really feel part of the work rather than causing an action in the work. I'm not doing something for the sake of it to get the satisfaction. It actually adds to the story of it and to the experience.
So the participant's role in this work is really to agitate the environment, and the creatures or life forms respond accordingly. So in this first state here, the creatures respond in a very direct way. As I spin the table, they spin with it. They're very much engaged and involved in the environment. As I move to different states, we encounter new creatures which have their own agency, and they do react to the spin of the table, but they also resist. These two creatures here are actually able to swim against the tide at a certain place. And then we move into a kind of a whirlpool or a vortex where all of the elements of the table start to either fall into the centre or move to the outside. And finally, we start to see the shadowy images of the database that sits underneath the work.
Before we had databases of computer, you had that microfiche. I felt like there was that kind of microfiche thing about going across facts. And
as I spin the table and slow it down, I sink down into that database. I can now navigate through 72 images. Each of them are arranged like elements in a periodic table, and there are texts and imagery for each of the elements that you can read that in some way codify or explain elements of the environment of the work.
You know, it brings up that whole kind of idea of what is knowledge, where is knowledge, who is the keeper of knowledge.
So as you can see, there's a very distinct difference between the elements that respond directly to the environment and then this kind of way of codifying information which gets right away from an embodied experience.
Sealing off that world from that poetic, metaphoric world from me with all of this kind of fact and information.